Now welcome to another lightning response video, where this time we're going to maybe get a bit off topic, though I do think it is kind of the last talking point in regards to what we've been discussing in the last few videos. This topic of what went wrong with Disney Star Wars. And so the question we've got, though many have asked me something very similar, but this one comes to us from Jared Poon, who asked, "Hey Thor, to what extent do you think Disney truly only cares about money? I say this not because I don't think that Disney can be incredibly greedy at times, but because it feels like we've seen a push in both video games, look at the recent Assassin's Creed release, and in film to have a certain political agenda. It seems to me that more and more companies are actually putting financial profits at risk by hiring writers and directors that want to fit their own ideologies on top of relatively innocuous franchises." Okay, so I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, which is fine. This is just my 2 cents, and I'll be the first one to admit I have been wrong before and had some really bad takes along the way. But I would say it's almost 100% about the money, that virtually every decision Disney as a corporate entity, makes has money at the core or is the main driving factor or consideration behind it when you dig deep enough. Or money and power, but those two kind of go hand in hand, right? It's hard to gain power without money, and money tends to grant you power regardless of a desire for it even. But anyway, I know, like I said, some are going to disagree. A lot of people think it is all about the agenda with Disney, the one that has seen a push for equity and inclusion and all that, the woke agenda, as some may want to call it, that it has been placed or prioritized above everything and anything else at a corporation like Disney, even above profit. And that this goes for most, if not almost all, other major corporations out there, that somewhere around 2015-ish, maybe a little before, but somewhere around that time they all just got on board with this mindset almost overnight and seemingly made it the most important thing. But honestly, I have a very, very hard time believing that all the top executives at Disney and elsewhere were having trouble sleeping at night because the entertainment they were putting out there, or whatever product they were making, and that was likely making them very rich, that they were losing sleep because it wasn't diverse enough. I have a hard time believing that so many in the cutthroat corporate world suddenly had their hearts grow 3 times in size all at once and thought they should prioritize diversity because it is simply the right thing to do, so much so that they don't care or didn't care that they would start to lose money because of it, or wouldn't make quite as much, potentially. And I'm not saying nobody or none of them believe in it or believe in the agenda, let's call it that for simplicity's sake. I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure some of them are truly all in, or at least believe to some degree. And certainly some of the people that they have hired along the way, or since this seemingly became a priority, they do indeed fully believe and are on board and almost entirely motivated by the agenda. And I think some who are all in, or were all in even before they were hired, they purposely target franchises like Star Wars, try to become a part of them to create content for them because of the reach and power a franchise like Star Wars has, or had. It's a great place to spread the message because of the massive audience they can reach thanks to the popularity of Star Wars, and so these franchises kind of become a magnet for people who want to preach the agenda. Nor am I saying here that it is the other extreme, that every single Disney exec is a horrible person without an ounce of compassion or empathy in them, that it is all literally about the money and they would never ever do anything that wasn't pure profit or help somebody for any reason whatsoever, that every single tiny micro decision is about profit. Certainly some are not, but the big ones certainly are. And so all I'm saying here is I don't believe that, again, all of them woke up one morning and decided to make this the most important thing at their companies because they suddenly all truly believed in it wholeheartedly 100%. Instead, I think a big part of it is that they saw, or thought they saw, a societal shift coming, that this was something everyone out there was simply going to have to accept and get on board with, or else, in a manner of speaking. They thought they saw a change in the winds of the world and turned their sail to catch that wind in order to ride it to profit. And in so doing, they sort of reinforced that idea or ideology, or put an even bigger spotlight upon it for good or bad, depending on your point of view, I suppose. And look, it does sound great, right? If you're Disney, the company, that we're going to start being as inclusive as possible, that we want everyone, every single person on the planet to feel like we, Disney, makes content for you because you're that important to us. that we, again, as Disney, believe in a society that is fair and equal for all, and we're going to play our part in making that happen because, again, we care so much. And again, it does sound good and noble at face value or on the surface, and I don't think any decent person rejects the thought or idea behind it outright. I think all good people believe in a world that is or should be as fair as possible for everyone. That, yeah, there are ways or things that we can maybe do to make a more level playing field for everybody. Even though it is impossible to make it perfectly level for everyone, there is no way for all of us to be perfect equals in all respects. Not when there are so many different variables at play in life, things that go beyond race, gender, sexuality, and all that. Not the least of which would be the kind of wealth you are born into or not born into, or how intelligent or physically gifted you might be, or how driven you are, or again, how driven you're not. But the problem is, some out there really, really believe in this cause, believe as much should be done as humanly possible and beyond to again level the playing field for everybody, even if it means maybe tilting it in favor of certain groups of people who in the past have very much had it tilted against them. I don't think anybody is denying history just because you don't get fully on board with everything the agenda says. And not only do they strongly believe in this goal, they also believe they fully know the right or best way to bring it about, to the point where no discussion can be had about it, where if you don't fully agree with everything they say or want to do in an effort to make the world a better place for everyone, you are seen as being an obstacle of sorts. You are seen as being in complete objection not just to the way they want to make it happen, but against the very thought of an equal and fair world itself. To them, if you don't fully believe not just in the message, but the method, you must be fully against the cause or mere idea of equality.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
And I am not saying that every single person who is on the side of equality for all at any cost is closed-minded, but there are some on that side who are, as there are people on the other side who also have some issues with being closed-minded as well. But anyway, if you are a company like Disney, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that, nor do you want to be on the wrong side of history itself if you truly believe that this is a change that will come about, that will sweep the world. You want to be out in front of it, actually. You want to look like you were spearheading the change before it became the popular thing to do. That you were championing the cause that brought about a better world before everyone else was, and before your competition was. Partly because, sure, you do want to be on the right side of history. Like I was saying before, I don't think every single Disney executive is pure evil and doesn't have a heart or care about anything beyond the money they make. But they are primarily driven by money. That is how they got to the top of a company like Disney in the first place. If they had simply been motivated by helping other people as much as they possibly could, they'd be running a charity, not a Fortune 500 company, and one in the top 50 even. And so, sure, to some degree, it's about making the world a better place, but it's more about money than anything else. It's more about profits and the happiness of the shareholders who decide their fate. Basically, I think with how huge of an issue this is or has become, in part almost ironically because of the backing or support of companies like Disney, you really don't want to be on the wrong side of the people who are very loudly and very publicly or on social media talking about making the world a better place through all of this. You don't want to be seen as standing in opposition of that, on being on what they figured would ultimately be the losing side. And there is, again thanks to social media, quite the spotlight upon them at all times, or they're constantly under a microscope. Everything they do or is said by them or a representative of them is going to be looked at, analyzed, and judged, and go viral if it's not the right thing, and have people saying they're going to boycott and all that sort of fun stuff. And they don't want to lose in the court of public opinion. They don't want to be tried and hung on social media for not being inclusive of all things, for not wanting to see all people get a fair chance. When you really think about it or look at it that way, it is one of the worst things to be accused of, to not thinking all people are created equally. And so, as I said at the top, you can disagree, you can think I'm dead wrong, that's fine. But I really do think they went along with all this, not because they fully believed in it, not because they all woke up again one morning and thought I need to be a better person and the world needs to be more inclusive, even though I sleep on a mattress of $100 bills. but rather they went along with it because they thought it would be the ideology that wins in the end, and they wanted to be on that winning side for the sake of their company, for the sake of profits, and for the sake of being even richer in the end. Well, that is going to be all I got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below and tell me what you think about any and all of this, and do please keep it civil down there. I know this is a touchy subject. Or you can always ask a question for a future lightning response video by starting your comment off with "Hey Thor" and then asking away. And I do think we will be getting back into some more Star Wars topics, in-universe topics after this video. But anyway, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.